What's going on, Jerome's? So we finally, mercifully, made it to draft month, and it really is the most wonderful time of the year. Although it is April 1st. It is April Fool's. This is the worst holiday. Just everyone just lies. Although I feel like that's a good insight to people. And it's funny. Like, this is the day where we verify, oh, this is actually from Adam Schefter as opposed to Adam Schnefter or Barry McCockner, right? So I feel like maybe every day we should just verify where things are coming from. It doesn't matter. But the draft month is finally here. And yes, I know that everyone, and myself included, is on mock draft 79.2. But I love this time of year, man. I do, because hope springs eternal. And you're just like, this is the draft class. This is going to be historic. This is going to be the class with several Hall of Famers that is going to put teams over the Vikings over the top and bring up a dozen Jerome Bardys in the next 10 years. And you do see that, where one draft class can shift the fortunes of a team for many years to come. I mean, look at the 2015 class. You had Kendricks in the second round. You had Daniil in the third round. You had Diggs in the fifth round. I mean, that sort of shaped the Vikings for the subsequent seasons. Also, Trey Waynes is the first round pick. But it's a lot better than 2016 or 2022. And we don't need to talk about that. But an added element of this year's class is the Vikings are probably going to be trading on up to the east side. Finally got a piece of the pie of a top 10 quarterback. And that's important, man. Of course, everything is won and lost in the trenches, but quarterback is the most important position in all of team sports, and the Vikings are taking themselves a big-time swing at this thing. And whether it's Drake May or Jaden Daniels or Michael Penix Jr. or J.J. McCarthy or whoever, I'm all in. I'm all in, because the Vikings have themselves a fantastic spot for them to land in, something that we've been over a bunch now. But I love the draft, and I definitely wouldn't call myself a draft expert. Like I'm watching some tape. I'm not grinding every single tape like the old time projectors. Like it ain't like that, man. But basically, just take a look who can play, who can't play, and I think that you have to be very cognizant about what you're looking for specifically for your team, right? And what focusing. We get accused of being overly positive all the time. That's fine. But specifically for the draft, and also to a degree for agency, focus on what a player can do versus what they can't do. All right. So what can this player bring to your team, and where does it have value? And by the way, every single draft pick doesn't have to be projected to be a superstar to be successful. Like Jaren Hall last year, where, I mean, Jaren Hall looked great on that second drive against the Falcons, looked whatever in the first half against the Packers. Now, do I think Jaren Hall is going to be a superstar starter in the National Football League? Probably not. But could Jaren Hall be a high-end backup that bounces around the league and is highly coveted and sought after, looking like a Chase Daniels or a Chad Henne or a Jabroni Brisket, maybe even a Ryan Fitzmagic? Sure. I think that he could be that. And for a fifth rounder, that's pretty damn good value. All right. And in this year's draft, and yes, the Vikings are going to be going after their quarterback one, but this is a very good class in terms of where the Vikings are set up, with 7 selections on day 3, 2 4s, 2 5s, a 6, and 2 7s, where the Vikings can hit on some key contributors, and they really can supplement at positions of need at the same time balancing taking the best player available. So, I mean, the Vikings got a couple of holes, especially. I was gonna say that's what she said, but we're trying to turn over a new leaf in 2024. But the Vikings definitely could use a penetrating 3-tech. That's what she said, as well as a run-stuffing nose tackle, as well as some offensive line depth, as well as some cornerback depth, as well as probably a wide receiver 3, 4, 5, and maybe a linebacker or 2. Who knows? Like, the Vikings are set up nicely, and I trust the process, and I think even the staunchest Kwesi haters are starting to come around to this is what is best for the team. Now, Kwesi has made some really tough decisions the last couple of off seasons, parting ways with some very high-name veterans. But you see now the forest through the trees. Now you see that the Vikings, after they move on from Kirk Cousins, have all the cap space in the world this year and especially next year, and they have flexibility, and they are perfectly set up with the receivers, with the coaching staff, with the tackles, and with Flores building a hellacious defense, that whatever quarterback comes in, whether it's Sam Darnold or rookie TBD, they're going to be set up pretty damn good for success. And that is the most important thing, especially if the Vikings do hit on this rookie quarterback and they have him on his rookie deal for the next 3-4 seasons. And the Vikings have all of that cap space to take care of their own in JJ and Darrisaw, as well as be big game hunting and free agency. That's exactly what they're going to do. But yes, I mean, a lot of people poo-poo Kwesi's 2022 draft. 2023 was pretty damn good with Jordan Addison, as well as you do have to count Ivan Pace Jr. as a UDFA coming on in. It's a great job of landing him in that spot. Frankly, landing a UDFA is tougher than just selecting a player in the 7th round. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, right? But hopefully Kwesi can put things together. He has to nail it on the quarterback spot. Plus, the Vikings do have a ton of picks in day 3, even though they kind of have to sit out day 2. But they certainly can add and grow and show at several positions of need in spots where the draft is pretty thick, THICC, especially at the top of day 3 at positions of need. So I'm excited, man. And the draft every single year, like we said, hope springs eternal. Like, this is the year, this is the pick. And also, I just love the drama. I actually... back in the day, I did like when the draft was a 2-day affair. So you had rounds 1 through 3 on Saturday, and then 4 through 7 on Sunday. It was nice. I mean, I remember as a kid just watching the Vikings taking random mouse as he fell down the draft board. But I feel like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday thing, I think that is pretty good because the drama in prime time, it's uncanny, man. Especially when a player starts dropping and it affects other teams' boards and plans, and all of a sudden, a player that you didn't think that they would be there or wasn't projected to be there goes, or a team takes a player out of nowhere, it's like, ooh, wow, and then completely rocks the board. I love it. I love that, man. Like Will Levis dropping down the board last year, Aaron Rodgers in 2005, Laramie Tunsil and the gas mask bong, all the Raiders' first-round picks were just like, oh, ooh. That changes the calculus. Like when they took Leatherwood in 2021 ahead of the Vikings, who traded down from 14 to 23 and took Darrisaw. And for that, we thank you. But yeah, we're going to be here, and thank you very much for coming along. I know that some of the content gets a little bit repetitive at times, but also this month focusing hardcore on the prospects, focusing hardcore on what the team needs. And yeah, I understand that a lot of times it can be like mock draft 79.5.211. I just know that's a work of passion, and it's that time of year. It's that time of year, man. But I'm fired up, so let's go do this damn thing. But that's it. Draft season. You know what to do. Skull, no production value.